Hey guys, Miranda Manticos here, spiritual teacher, psychic channeler. So, I wanted to talk about something that I feel is important. A friend of mine tagged me in a post where she was expressing her frustration and feelings over a reaction that someone else that she's friends with had regarding, I guess, someone's page on TikTok that's monitoring like the UAPs and the orbs and things. So I want to talk about this for a second because I feel like what she said is important. Okay. So, and I'm gonna use QHHT to kind of explain. So she made a comment in her video that said she felt like her friend was ego possessed. Let me click this, you guys. Sorry, apologize. Music's probably responding to the energy. It just got shut down. So I want to talk about that. So one thing that QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, has taught me, and I know other practitioners will on some level agree. I don't know if they'll fully agree, but I think so. Yes, a person can be ego possessed, literally, quite literally. And one thing that I've learned through all of this work, all these different types of spiritual sessions that we do here and that I do here in my practice, is you are powerful. Remember that. Your soul is extremely powerful, wise, and connected to source. Okay, so you are an aspect of the divine. We all are. Okay. But why that's relevant when it comes to ego is a powerful soul has the power to create anything. This is why, by the way, as we're moving into the new frequencies and the new dimensional experiences, it's important to remember that power and not abuse that power, right? But most of the collective, I don't think, has fully like awakened to that yet. And so without their knowledge, and we see this in sessions, they've been creating entities all of their life. I mean, really, like this could be an hours long lecture we could give on the stuff that we see in these sessions. And even in myself, okay? Like when I was really working on understanding who I was channeling, right? And like how this information was coming through. Even then, my own higher self came in and helped me understand that there were even versions of Jesus and versions of Mother Mary and versions of different beings that my own self had created, and I had to get past that to get to the true higher self of those beings to really communicate with those beings. Okay, so that meant that I had to die to my ego. I had to die to my ego and still have to work on that. Okay, so in support of what Gabrielle was saying, and I'm going to try to tag her in this too. Yeah, like so much ego is being purged right now. And where does the ego come from? Think about that. Like it's meant to protect us, right? It's not like it's totally terrible, but it's when it's amped up in fear and when there's so much pushing it, it can flare out and misbehave, so to speak, right? This is why soul connection, grounding, authenticity, and being teachable is so important, because it helps keep us balanced, and it helps us to really look at ourselves and see if we are acting on love or if we're acting through ego. So going a little bit further on that, what she was talking about is how sometimes on social media, people will just, really let somebody have it, right? They'll criticize, they make fun, they make jokes. And I see a lot of this too. And that's not new. We know that cyberbullying is a thing, right? But it hurts sometimes, right? And this other friend that she was talking about, I don't even know that person knew what the comment was, but it hurt her for her friend. And she was talking about how some people can be so emotionless, right? Emotionless. And that's a really important topic, okay? Because we know that from sessions, from speaking to the higher realms, going back to other timelines, going to future timelines, that there are beings right now coming back from the future so that they don't lose their emotions, because they bred themselves out of emotion and then realized that wasn't a good decision. You need your emotions, okay? And it, not to say that it's not okay to just observe, right? Or not have an opinion, that's fine, but to not care, that's not okay. We care. Excuse me one second. Okay. So what she's tapping on, I think, is a very important message. Don't lose your humanity, okay? Just because you're scared, just because you don't understand something, or you think you know everything. You don't know everything. We don't know everything, guys. We're trying. We're just trying. And one of the things that I like to do with my page in social, on any of them, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, is support other people trying to tell the story, okay? It doesn't matter to me if I 100% like agree with everything they're saying. If I see effort, I'm going to support that effort. I think that is something we need to learn, right? And if you get into the whole aspect of being weavers and ancient weavers and weaving into the quantum field, weaving light, right? Versus, perhaps we had lifetimes where we were actual weavers of cloth and thread. But if you weave light, then you understand that when you're creating a web, there are many joints to that web that make it cross-link, okay? Every single one of the people on this planet is a cross-link. Every single one matters. Their perspective matters. I appreciate everybody on here trying to do something, right? The ones that are just out there filming the orbs, or out there filming the drones, or out there just showing an airplane, or showing an object they found, or something they perceived, or teaching something they learned. Every single one of these individuals is an important part of the web we're weaving, okay, as sacred weavers. This is how we are, this is grid work, right? Weaving is grid work, really. Like, this is how we raise the frequency of a new grid, of a new realm, of the frequency that we're wanting to manifest here, okay? So tearing each other down is only destroying the web that is being woven in the section where you work. So if you feel inclined to be critical of someone, pause, okay? Recognize why you may be feeling critical. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of what they're showing? Or are you afraid that it could be true? Or are you afraid that it could be a lie, right? Examine your fears. And one thing that, I never get her channel exactly right, but my friend BB, she's in Mississippi. I'll try to tag both of them. She taught something so beautiful on one of her energy sessions that she did on TikTok. But she said when she was a minister in years back, and I was too, by the way, and studied the Bible like a theologian. So, and I do feel like that had a purpose, because it helped me in so many ways now to go back and look at it as more of an allegory and a mysticism story than the way I was taught religiously, okay? But anyway, she said when she got a download about this, it helped it click on what the word believe means, okay? And you'd have to go back and look at her channel to find the exact description, but essentially when she looked up the root word meaning believe, it meant to be love, okay? And God is love. So what does that mean? Be God. Be God in this situation. If you were God, would you be criticizing your brother or sister, so to speak? Would you be criticizing your children? Would you be criticizing your mother? Would you be criticizing anyone? Or would you just be love? And when it's difficult for you to love something, okay, when you fear something, that means you need to pour more love into it. Your fear and the things you don't understand and the things you want to run from are the things that are calling you to love them. Okay, so find out where you can put more love into those areas. And we all have this, okay? Like, we all on some level have to work on peeling back the layers that are not us. We're all working on this. So this isn't a criticism. This is just an observation of what we need to work on, okay? And by the way, this can be pretty, this can affect people, whether they realize it or not. I've done sessions on people who were literally being caused severe illness or discomfort or pain or inflammation in the body from the ego, having formed an entity that didn't want to leave and that no longer served the highest good of this client, okay? So it can be quite an entanglement. We'll put it like that. So yeah, we need to think more about what we're saying and how we're, expressing our humanity to each other. And like Gabrielle said, we need to feel. We need to feel more. And by the way, when you do that, when you become more present in the body and you feel more and you care more, it's not because you're not being asked to be a martyr in this life. You're not being asked to sacrifice yourself for the collective or in any kind of way, because the emotions can be very hard, right? And heavy sometimes. You're just being asked by the higher self to be willing to feel, okay, and have compassion. And on some level, if you can do that, a little bit at a time even, you can begin to understand someone better, and we can begin to understand each other better, okay? Also, the quicker we learn that this is a team project here, okay? We are not looking for more leaders of the new frequencies, okay? It's not that there aren't people who are going to lead and help. There are, but that's not exactly what we're looking for. What has existed in times past. What we're looking for is a collective movement of love, okay? And that's going to require many, 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 not just one, not just a few, but many, okay? And so I think that's relevant as well. Even though we're spiritual teachers and we're here as guides and we're assisting in whatever way we can, we do not have all the answers, but we love and we come from a place of love. And if we're not coming from a place of love, we need to reevaluate why we're doing it, right? Why are we doing it? And that can be, tuned. Everything's healable, okay? So I just think that's worth saying. I see less and less of that sort of rude, mean, callous behavior happening, but it's still there sometimes. And I think we can grow. And that's what, even when I make a post that somebody doesn't understand, and I've had them where they go on and they criticize and they're like, you're just seeing an airplane, or you're seeing whatever they think you're seeing, okay? And that's why I've said in the past too, that what the common person doesn't realize, the average person, is that a lot of times when these psychics are posting this stuff and they're intuitives or they're telepathic or they're visionaries or dream walkers, they are sensing something else beyond what that craft looks like. So it's okay if you don't believe that. That's okay, but you don't have to criticize, okay? So that's where you need to ask yourself, am I coming from the ego when I feel the need to correct everyone on their page? Why do we have to do that? We don't have to do that. Don't comment. You don't like it? Scroll, right? Why does a person feel triggered like they have to correct somebody? Okay, and we've all done it, I think, on some level. But that's the point. I think that's kind of like, maybe there's more to, Gabrielle, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like that's kind of what she's trying to say is like, why do we feel like we have to criticize? Because when we do that, that's really just an indication that we need more growth inside. Okay, so let's be kind. Let's support each other, okay? We don't have to 100% agree. We don't have to 100% all have the same journey, all have the same opinions. That is not what being a collective means. We are individuals, but we can work together. We can love together. We can grow together. We can allow space for each other. We can allow space for the miracles and the perceptions and the visions and the joy. Think about it. Like, what's it hurting that someone posts something that they thought was amazing? It's not hurting anything. Why is it hurting you? It's not going to hurt you. Okay? So if you feel wounded or hurt, ask yourself why. Dig a little deeper. Get help if you need. And I'm giggling, but it's because I've had to do it for myself. So, okay. Sometimes we don't understand everything. That doesn't mean we have to attack. No. Breathe, ground. Okay, move through it. And let's love each other. That's what we came here to do. We did not come here to monopolize the show. We came here to do this together. And I actually just heard it again in a session today from the higher self of another person, who basically the higher self came in and said, it's such an advanced being. The soul is so advanced, it could come in and do all the jobs. That's not the point. It came here to teach that we need to work as a team. Look at how ants survive, right, in a flood. What does water represent? Emotions. How do they survive in a flood? They link up, they carry each other, they hold on, and they float. So this is what we need to learn as humanity. The more we can do this, the more we can be together. Allowing space for the individual, but also the collective. That's the magic, okay? That's what we're looking for, is love, support, connection. And just, if you're afraid of something, explore that something until you're not afraid of it. That's how we grow in the discomfort zone, right? And it's been my story as well. Anything I feared, I was pushed into. I had to learn not to fear it. And even with flying, I've never really been a fan of flying at all, but I've made myself fly all over the country and internationally. And I've learned to trust that when I'm supposed to go somewhere, I feel the urge to go and I go. And then I don't. It helps me not focus on that so much. Does that make sense? But anything you fear, explore it. Understand it better. I even took some courses on flying. Literally just all the things. Okay. So I'm just using that as an example, but it's okay. You can figure out why something's triggering you. If somebody posts something or you think they're inauthentic, or like, I think that was kind of the case what she was saying. This one friend was accusing the other friend of being inauthentic and just wanting views. Okay. Like, you don't know that for one thing, but also what my guides have told me is even the channels where they're just posting everyday orbs, or they're posting craft, or they're posting pictures of the clouds, or whatever they're posting, every single one of these people is a waymaker and an awakener, whether they know it or not. Every single one of them on a soul level is agreeing to be part of the real disclosure here. Okay? So they're important. So as spiritual teachers and practitioners, let's be respectful and thankful and appreciative to all who are doing this with us. We need and appreciate and love and respect all.